Today I'll be rating every splash art in Wuthering Waves, but this tier list will not go how you expect. Most content creators make these with the explicit goal of gaining as many followers from these fan bases as possible. I have a distinct feeling this tier list is gonna do the exact opposite. I'll show you what I mean. Let's take Yinlin for example. Kuro managed to do something absolutely immaculate with Yinlin. Not only do they give her the most jank kit I have ever played in Wuthering Waves, they also gave her the most forgettable splash art I've ever seen. I didn't even remember what this looked like, and I literally looked at every splash art 10 minutes before starting this video. This is embarrassing. I mean, seriously, what is going on here? It is just a pinup of a character. There's nothing fancy happening whatsoever. There is no personality here, and it gets rid of her one gimmick, being a BDSM mommy character. The only trick they added to this splash art was making it so she's taking off her shoes so she can appeal to the foot gooners, bro. Are we being serious right now, Kuro? You know the biggest tragedy in all this for Yinlin too? They literally nailed the perfect vibes for her during the beta, and for some reason they decided to retcon it. You had crazy batshit yandere lady literally sitting right there, and instead we get plain boring BDSM mommy? Like, really? I have a feeling you guys are gonna notice a certain type I have throughout this video. That's probably because Freud was right. And that's why, just like my mom, Yinlin belongs in F tier. You know what? Let's take another whip action character next. Just batting for another team. Just look at Brant. Kuro knocks it out of the park here. He's the definition of aura farming. Look at this splash art. There are tornadoes in the background. The storm is raging. Lightning coming down in front of his face. And what does he do? He stands tall, on top of the mast, at the very tip of his ship. He's the definition of an aura farmer. And look at that smile. Oh my god. I am submissive and breedable for this character. Holy, I don't know what Kuro was cooking in 2.0, but these splash arts get so much better. Tying it in with the treasure map on the sides too, it's so thematic. It's so well put together, and it speaks to his personality as well. Kuro cooked real hard here. The exact opposite of Yinlin. Brant gets an S tier. Brant alone is enough proof that this game being Gooner Deluxe is such a tragedy. It's so weird too because Wuthering Waves doesn't even have to make Gooner characters to make them interesting. Look at Ciaccona over here. The vibes from the splash art are amazing. You have the music sheets in the background, adding a nice theme to the bard. Everything is so soft and cozy. Look at the lighting here. It is so well done. It feels like it's airbrushed on. It feels soft. I feel like I'm being lulled. If Ciaccona was playing her notes in front of me, I'd be just like these animals too. It's so inviting, so warm. It speaks to her character so well. I love the color palette here. I love the ideas they went for, the themes. I can't lie, this is amazing. And it's just one more reason it's sad they don't make more characters like this. Ciaccona, she belongs in A tier. Next up, Jiyan. You all know I'm an avid Jiyan enjoyer. I made an entire challenge series just so I could pull this guy on one of my accounts. He is so fun to play. The idea behind him is amazing. But Jiyan over here, he's the failure my parents always told me I was. And I mean, they were right, but that only proves my point even further. I mean, seriously, what is going on in this splash art? It's so flat. He's so expressionless. The dragon is boring. He looks pug-faced. The background has nothing going on outside of the dragon, who's just like a green blob. His entire face is boring, flat, cringe. It's a boring pose, it's a boring background, and overall, it's just a boring splash art. There are standard banner characters in this game that have better splash arts than this. We gotta be serious, Kuro. This is the first 5-star unit you were trying to sell, and this is what you came up with? Embarrassing. It hurts me more than you know to do this. But Jiyan, I have to be honest, you belong in F tier. Since we mentioned standard banner characters, let me show you what I mean. Take Encore over here. This just looks so much better than Jiyan already. I mean, the mushrooms add flavor to the thing. You can see the whole storybook vibes. It ties in so well with Encore's story and lore. She's over here playing with her puppets like a little kid. The pose itself is pretty cool. It's nice and dynamic. The mushrooms in the back look nice and thematic. It's just a nice, solid thing. And yes, it is pretty basic. But you don't always have to go overboard to make something look cool. You just have to give it a little bit of flavor. And that's what this has. A good amount of flavor. That's why Encore gets a solid B tier. Jinhsi was the first character Wuthering Waves really tried to sell us. They had an entire story arc dedicated to her. Mount Firmament was only her story, and actually, compared to the rest of 1.0, it was pretty good. But with how much effort they put into selling Jinhsi, it makes you wonder, why did they make her splash art so basic? If we were to take away Jue here, there is nothing going on here that is even remotely interesting. Jue single-handedly carries this picture with his aura. Just look at that menacing look. Him in the background all coiled up like that. He looks so cool. He's literally stealing the show from Jinhsi. But look at Jinhsi over here. The pose is boring. It's generic. There's nothing interesting going on. There's not even a background over here besides Jue. They could have even elevated the Jue too. As it stands, they look like two different elements on the page. Jue's over here in the background. You have Jinhsi in the front. They could have had Jue coiling around Jinhsi, and that would have been a so much more dynamic splash art. It would have looked so cool. It would have added depth here. Instead, we get this. Jinhsi just sitting in the front, doing whatever waifu she's supposed to do to sell to the gooners. If Jue was not in the splash art, I'd be giving Jinhsi the easiest F I've ever seen. But Jue's aura is carrying so hard here, and that's why Jinhsi is getting a C. It's so weird that Kuro Games decided to go backgroundless for Jinhsi, especially when standard banner characters like Lingyang get a background for themselves. It's not the most amazing thing, but it's better than the nothing that Jinhsi had. But for as much as people hate Lingyang, and trust me, I have two very good reasons to hate this character. This splash art is actually pretty well done. It shows his personality over here. And is it simple? Yeah, it is. But as mentioned before, simple isn't always a bad thing. A tiger here looks nice and cool and dynamic. It fits in with this theme. You see the playful nature of him, jumping around on the steps, dodging around and playing with the tiger. The Chinese architecture behind him to tie him in with the region. They could have done something similar like this to Jue. It's the same exact theme. Why don't they just do that? He's literally holding a dragon right now. You know what? With how much Lingyang ends up ruining our 50-50s, I guess you might as well make his splash art look good. Lingyang gets a surprising B tier. This is going to be a fun one. Camellya. You all know how down bad I am for this character. Her personality is so peak, the entire community gaslit themselves into thinking her playstyle is enjoyable. But unfortunately for us, this is not a competition of personality. This is about something much less interesting. And as far as her splash goes, I mean, there's a lot going on here. The colors give off dangerous, deathly vibes. The plants look uninviting. The red is vibrant. It reminds you of blood. But then when you look at Camellya herself, her expression, it looks so playful. She looks like she's ready to have a good time. Just like I would be if I was all tangled up in those vines too. But as much as I want to gush over Camellya, if I'm being honest, I have to detract some points. I mean, seriously, what is going on with their outfit? I don't know why they have this different stocking on each side. I don't know why they have open-toed shoes for a gardener. I don't know why she has a Shikigami curse going alongside her leg. But this asymmetrical design stuff that anime games love so much is kind of cringe. You guys gotta stop doing this. It's embarrassing. I love Camellya a lot, but just based on her outfit being so silly alone, I have to give her an A. God, that is painful. And the biggest vibes 180 I've ever seen, Jianxin. I mean, seriously, what the f is this splash art? It is so boring. It is so uninspired. I get it. She's a monk. She's supposed to be training on a mountain. That doesn't make this less boring. Just make a more interesting character then. I don't want to see this. F. Up next, Zhezhi. If I'm being honest, going into this, I expected to give Zhezhi an instant F tier. I hate everything about this character. I hate her personality. I hate her dumpy ass outfit. I hate her stupid fucking eyes. And I especially hate her playstyle. But if I'm looking at this splash art and I'm giving it an honest, objective rating, I have to say the vibes they were going for were actually matched pretty well here. The splash art closely mimics the Japanese style of artwork they were trying to go for. I think the color scheme is actually done very well. And even though I hate her personality, they ended up nailing that personality very well in the splash art. She looks so shy, so reserved over here. If I'm honest with myself and I throw my biases aside, Zhezhi deserves a high B. Let's go for something more my style though. Calcharro. This splash art looks amazing. The edginess vibes coming from him. The nice moon in the background. The color scheme over here is kind of giving me Castlevania vibes. I know a lot of people say that he looks like Sephiroth from Final Fantasy, but if I'm being honest, I don't even know what the Sephiroth looks like. I've never played that game. What I do know though is this guy is peak edginess. He is aura farming. He literally rips off his shirt in the splash art. He is breaking the ground beneath him as he steps. There's even this super cool masked warrior guy in the background over here. It's so well done. The only complaint I have about Calcharro is his design is just so busy. I mean, what is up with these anime games that adding belts to every single character? Him alone, he has like 4 different belts on here. And for a combat-based character too, this just makes no sense. These things are flowing in the wind as you're moving at Mach 10, so they can come back and snap you in the Achilles like your name is Halliburton? Wait, is that too soon? Whatever. Calcharro deserves a mighty A tier. Hopefully they do you justice in the 3.0 story, King. Phoebe's splash art is the biggest anomaly to me. The most interesting part of the splash art is not even Phoebe herself. It's literally the echoes on the side of it. Why would you do this? The Cuddle Waddle climbing up the tower over here, the Diggy Duggy in the air, the Nimbus Wraith coming through the window, Lost Lottie and Hocus Pocus over here peeping in. These are infinitely more interesting than anything Phoebe has to offer here. She is sitting there reading a book by a windowsill. Can we get any more boring? Look, I get it. It's supposed to be serene, graceful, welcoming. She's being surrounded by all the friends she can't hang out with normally. I get it. But then execute the design in a more interesting manner. The echoes themselves are infinitely more interesting than anything Phoebe has to offer. And that's why Phoebe belongs in D tier. Back to the 1.0 splash arts, we have another disaster. Xiangli Yao. Look, I get it. Kuronui wouldn't sell. It's a Gunner game. This is a male character. And they had to give him out for free because they butchered the 1.0 launch so bad they had to retain their player base somehow. I know what they were trying to do here. But that doesn't mean you get to skimp out on all of its promotional material. This looks like the first project I would make in Photoshop as a 12-year-old. We have to be a little bit more serious than this. Xiangli Yao is such a fun character. He is so cool. How are you going to do my boy dirty like this? He is literally my favorite character to play in the game. And I have to look at this when I see his splash art. This is embarrassing. It is so sad to see such a fun character get sidelined this hard. Kuro Games, you did this man dirty. He needs some justice. You should be apologizing right now. But as far as splash arts go, Xiangli Yao gets a D tier. The most hyped up character in Wuthering Waves ever. She will probably be the biggest selling unit after her banner is over. Cartethyia herself. And honestly, when I'm looking at her splash art, it doesn't really do it for me. The coolest part of the splash art is definitely the horse over here. I like the horse. I like the color dynamics on it. It looks pretty cool. I like the majestic hair they have going on over here. I like it raining down the sides like this. It looks pretty cool. It looks fluffy. I want to pet it. Borderless and Cartethyia, on the other hand, I wish they died in the middle of the 2.2 story. This doesn't do it for me. Look, I get it. You have waifu baited by her in the 2.2 story. So now everywhere you go, you're gonna simp for her. But unlike most of you, I can actually get touched by women. That's why this splash art just doesn't do it for me. It's a boring design. The idea behind it is so much better than the reality. Her outfit is so boring. The character herself is so boring. Maybe I'm carrying a little bit of my biases in her personality here, but honestly, I just don't see it. I get what they're going for. I'm just not a fan. The best part of her splash art is the horse and the color scheme behind it, and that's why I have to give Cartethyia a C tier. Zani is an interesting case, and I have a little bit of lore behind her splash art too. But first, we have to address the elephant in the room. I mean, seriously, what the fuck is this outfit? Zani could have been such a cool character, and instead they decided to Gunner bait her? Why in the actual fuck are her pants riding her up so goddamn high? I can see her ass cheeks from this angle. This thing is literally giving her a wedgie. It just doesn't make sense. Is this really practical for moving around a Batman-style vigilante? No, obviously not. It's there to appeal to the Gunners, and that's why I find this design so boring. It could have been so much more than that. But everything in this game has to be Gunner, because everyone who plays gacha games is just down bad. It's pathetic. Moving on from that, the splash art itself is pretty good. The only real critique I have is that her expression doesn't really mirror how she acts in game. She's generally a pretty cool, calm, collected character, and over here, she looks pretty angry. With the flames over here, arching backwards, coming in from the background, tying in with her hair, and the giant broadsword in the background to boot. I think this is actually how we found out that Zani was going to be a transforming character as well. I love that we get both modes of her over here. We get her standard form and the transformed form. I'm not gonna lie, the aura from the flames and her in the background with the Guts greatsword is carrying the splash art pretty hard, but they cooked really hard doing it. So, Zani gets a deserved A tier. Next up is a huge surprise on this list. I was not expecting to like Phrolova as much as I did. I actually didn't even like her in the story, but this splash art is probably the best one I've seen in any gacha. Look at the expression on her face in the background. The conductor vibes going on here. The instruments over to the side. The dripping ooze coming into the foreground from her conductor stick. And then her happy expression over here in stark contrast with whatever's going on in the back. Oh my god, they cooked so hard here. This is how you do a splash art. This is how you make a character. Phrolova's splash art has so much aura, she gets her own tier. By far, the best splash art in the game, and it's not even particularly close. They cooked so hard. On the topic of cooking, look at what Kuro Games did with this. I mean, just look at the background, the starry sky, so amazing, the nice colors, it blending in over here, the details on these flowers that remind me of Camellya. the water. It's so well done. There's just one small problem. And when I say small, I do mean small. Because this outfit is fun sized. I mean, seriously, what the fuck did they put on her? This outfit is embarrassing. It looks disgusting. It looks like they Googled lingerie and tried to add the most minimal amount to it as possible to avoid getting flagged on the Google Play Store. I mean, seriously, what even is this outfit? This is disgusting, bro. And before one of you guys tries to lie to me and pretend that this outfit is serene and graceful like she's supposed to be, when you crawl up from your basement because your mom rang the dinner bell, meaning it's time for your chicken tendies, and you see her wearing this outfit, you're gonna promptly pour bleach into your eyes. This outfit is disgusting. It is embarrassing. How in the actual fuck does anyone even like this? I don't know. I seriously can't comprehend how anyone thinks this outfit looks good. This is an embarrassment. It's so sad because I like the color scheme here too, and I love the background. And the idea behind a character like Shorekeeper could be cool as well. Unfortunately for us, Kuro has one note, and it's appealing to gooners. Shorekeeper gets a D for down bad. It's Carlotta's turn, and let me just say, whoever made this splash shirt definitely watched Peaky Blinders 20 seconds before making it. They nailed the 1930s mafia vibes here so well. I mean, just look at the lighting here. If we compare it to our normal lighting, this looks so vibrant, so saturated. But this, it feels like I'm in an old-time film. Very well done. It fits her vibes really well. She's literally an assassin for the family. Her casually holding the gun like this too, taking off her glove, sitting on the couch nice and relaxed, it all looks really well made. I mean, I said it before, but this unironically looks like a set from Peaky Blinders. There's just one thing pissing me off about this though. Why the fuck does an assassin have her shoes on the couch? She literally steps in other people's blood and guts after murdering them, and she's just wearing them on the couch. I mean, seriously, what is this? Why would you not take your shoes off? How are you sitting in other people's blood and guts? I was gonna give this an S tier, but just for that single detail alone, I have to take that down. Carlotta, you get an A tier. Speaking of gooners, the most gooner character in this game, ladies and gentlemen, Cantarella herself, the queen of camel toe controversy. And while if I were rating her in-game model, I'd have her pretty low on this list, her splash art here looks amazing. Her pose looks simultaneously elegant and relaxed. You see her sitting on top of the jellyfish. The color scheme here, so cool too. The blue, the purple, the white, it all pairs so well together. The umbrella, it looks amazing. The jellyfish over here to match her vibes. Her face looking pristine. I also like that they have this underwater. You can see the bubbles down here. And then the fish swimming around as well. There's even a whale in the background. Oh wait, there's two of them. There's even two whales in the background. This splash art, very well done. I like it a lot. You guys may think I just hate gooning, but I really don't. Kuro just often does it in the most poor taste possible. But Cantarella, she gets an S tier. Well done. If you're gonna make a gooner character, make it like this. It looks so much better than whatever the fuck is going on with Shorekeeper. Verina is a weird one. The color palette for everything matches and it all makes sense, but I have no idea what the hell is going on with this pose, and her coloring herself looks so out of place. Honestly, the more I look at it, the more uncomfortable this pose ends up making me. I think Verina gets a D tier. I have no idea what's going on there. I mean, it's a 1.0 splash and a standard character at that. I don't know what I was expecting. Roccia looks like what they tried to do with Encore, but just worse. I mean, this pose is just not it. Why does her foot look so flat? Why does her face look so weirdly shaded? Look, I know they wanted it to be dynamic, but just compare this one to the Encore one from earlier. It just looks so much worse. There's only one saving grace, and that's these characters over here on the side. They have so much personality, they look like they're having so much fun. You got the bunny moving over here, this one doing hat tricks, these two toy soldiers playing their instruments. I gotta be honest, these mini dudes are infinitely more interesting than anything Roccia is doing in the splash art. And they are single-handedly keeping Roccia from being F tier. Last but not least on the list, Lupa. Her pose, so dynamic. I love the action they're taking here. The color scheme on these wolves is so peak. But I think that's where my compliments are going to end. The smoke behind her makes it look like they're trying to make her blend in with the background, and I don't know why. The pose looks so cool. It's just faded out because of the color scheme that they chose. This could have been such a good cook, but honestly, it ended up being a giant letdown because the execution just wasn't there. I want to rate Lupa higher, but I really feel like they burned the kitchen here. I gotta give Lupa a D tier. Many of you probably disagree with this tier list, so make sure not to subscribe. Remember, you can't like a content creator unless you agree with every single one of their opinions.